Be live. I hope. Let's just see if
Great.
this transmits over, and then I want to see if we have the volume working. Okay.
Yep.
Can Can you hear yourself?
Second there now. I'm just going to open it up on my phone.
Okay. I think we should be good though. Made sure I ran through everything properly today.
Yep, I can hear myself.
Perfect. Much more efficient today than yesterday. We're getting the hang of
Yep.
these things. I'm also
Yeah.
gonna open up Twitter so we have it there. So, another Grand Prix in the books. What did you think? First thoughts?
I thought it was actually a really good Grand Prix. I really enjoyed it actually. I felt well. I think they kind of plateaued towards the end. They kind of like the all the action kind of died off, but that kind of seems to be the way with every race, in a way. But I found like the first stint in particular was mental. That there was just battles left, right, and center, and like I remember when Gasly had his engine blowout, I was thinking to myself, I don't think even for entertainment we need a safety car for this.
It would have helped my Ferrari run, but other than that, yeah, I
Yeah,
think you're right.
that's true, but I'm just going to be happy that Hamilton got up to second.
That's crazy. I can't even imagine. Imagine if he would have qualified like top four even. I think he would have had Russell easy, easy.
Don't even mention it. I'm just livid that he didn't get a better Q3.
We got Dan Shime over
Even
here
just
in the chat. My boy, yeah, don't worry, Dan. I see you. Get those laces ready for the games next year. Pulling up from three. Anyways, sorry, just had to let him know. The main problem, in my opinion, is besides the fact that Hamilton qualified so low,
mhm.
Ferrari just kind of sucked. I truthfully, this might sound a bit hypocritical. I'm very happy that Russell won today because I got so many box tokens that I'm now first in the leaderboard. So
Oh, you lucky.
yeah, it was. I think it was 7.5 million. So right now, if you go check the leaderboard, I'm number one. I have to make sure I stay there for the next couple races. I want those tickets, so I'm quite happy.
Well, I might have to challenge you on that.
I hope you do. I hope you do, but you're pretty far behind. I mean, you're gonna have to be spot on for the next two races. But
I
hey,
got this.
it's
I
possible.
believe in myself.
It's possible.
I believe in myself.
I believe in you two up to a certain point. Hopefully enough for top three. A top
To a
three would be
certain
nice.
point.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's early race.
I'm,
Early
I'm,
race.
I'm going to be doing a Hamilton on it and going come from way behind and creep up behind you right towards the end.
Yeah, because the next two races they're extremely chilly races, right? We have the one in Qatar and then the one in Abu Dhabi. I think it's gonna be nice low temperatures, the way that Mercedes likes it. So it is what it is. No, but overall, I was surprised on the first stint because that's what you started off on. Right off the bat, when Charles overtook, I think it was Gasly and Sainz. It's like, oh, this is gonna be a
Yeah,
good day. I was already seeing that checkered flag, but I don't know if it was just staying in the dirty air for too long. He had that one attempt where he tried to go on the outside going to turn one, and it just didn't amount to anything at all.
yeah. Uh, I don't know. I think that like the Ferraris, they had the pace, like especially the straight line speed, but I think that they just got let down by the whole by the I guess the tire deg that kind of just really just made it so that they wouldn't win the race, I guess.
Hmm. But do you think they could have done anything to prevent that, or was it just bound to happen? I mean,
No,
all the
it's
teams had pretty bad tire deg, but Ferrari just seemed to be
all
brutal.
teams are struggling with it. I think that there was nothing really they could have done. I think it was just a case of that was the car that they had, and there was nothing more they could do.
What about that strategy call when they called Sainz wanted to box and then told him to box and to stay out? That's where he essentially lost track position to Hamilton, right? Because Hamilton would have come in right behind him.
Yeah, I I think that they made a big blunder there, and I also think that it should have been penalised, based solely on the fact that he had already entered the pit lane,
Hmm.
and they like it's I don't know, like it's I'm not sure if it's in the race director's notes this year, but it it definitely should be looked at because I don't know, like he he went across the line, and in other cases before, if someone goes across the line, it's a penalty. It's happened many times, but for some reason today it didn't seem to be a penalty. But I don't know.
It wasn't even noted. It was just
Yeah,
kind of flew over it. I mean, he did cost himself quite a bit of time. He didn't gain any advantage from it whatsoever. It was
he
just
did, but it's not even that a case of gaining anything from it. It's more a case of safety. That like
that's true.
the the restrictions are there for a reason because like him cutting across there, he's cutting right across the racing line. If there was another car coming across there, he could have gone straight into them. So he
Yeah.
was he, I don't know.
No, I totally understand what you're saying. I mean, I wouldn't have been completely appalled if they did decide to give him a penalty that could have made all this unfair.
Yeah.
Uh, I don't know if it would it have mattered in the grand scheme. Who was Verstappen might have overall. So I just pulled up the race results just so we could get kind of like a driver grid by grid. Uh, as much as I would have liked a 1-2, a 2-3 for Ferrari isn't terrible from a constructor standpoint, considering that McLaren didn't get quite as many points this weekend. McLaren got 10 points total,
Mm-hmm.
and Ferrari got, what was it, 27 points, I think. So
Yeah.
that's 17 points that we're cutting the gap. I mean, I don't know if we're going to see Ferrari overtake McLaren by the end, because I don't know what the difference
I
is.
I think we will. Like there's still like maximum total 60 points up for grabs when it comes to a singular driver. So that's like when it comes to first
Yeah,
with fastest laps and the sprint. But then you've got to factor in second place as well on top of that. So you've got let's say 36 and 7, so 43. So you've got like over 100. There's still 103 points on the table in a way, if you get what I mean.
yeah, no, I get what you mean.
Right. I'm not 100% sure on that because I'm extremely exhausted now after staying up for to watch that race. But I remember was it King Julian was here yesterday, and
Yeah, he was here.
I have a fun fact for him if he's here.
I don't know if he's in right now, but if you give the fact, I can push that along to him,
If you want
or you can just
if you
put it
want to
in the
pass,
chat.
well, I'll leave it here. The fun fact is, in my time of waiting for the Grand Prix to start, I got curious and I decided to apply the current like point system to the 1976 championship, which they depicted in Rush. And I worked out that in the event that it was our point system, James Hunt would have had to have finished second in the last race instead of third to have won the championship. And he would have only lost the championship by 3 points.
That's a fun fact that King Julian will be receiving if he hasn't watched and if he's not watching.
Yeah.
So for
So
now, that's a fun fact
come
for
back
you,
next
Dan,
week.
if you're still here. If you're not going to sleep, because I know it's early over there. Or late, technically, it's
Come
very
back
late.
next week for
Yeah, next
come
week
back
for
next
another
week
fun
for more
fact.
fun facts. I'll just have a list of fun facts.
Perfect. Fun fact every race weekend.
Yeah,
Max Verstappen, world champion 4 times in a row. Deserving? I think so, but
I think so. Definitely this year. He's definitely been miles ahead of everyone else. He definitely deserves to win that championship.
and he mentioned
That
something. I think what he was trying to mention in the post race interviews is such a weird process after the race. I feel like the race was 1.5 hours or one. I think it ended at 9:20 my time, and then like the
yeah,
next 40 minutes were just them go driving by car, doing the post race interviews, doing the podium, just a whole
yeah.
bunch of show afterwards.
That's
But
Vegas for you.
yeah,
That
yeah.
is Vegas.
But what I want to say was that at one
No.
point, one of the questions where I think he was trying to get across that he really loved how last year worked. Obviously, you love being in a dominant car, winning 23 out of the 24 races as a team. But
Hmm.
um, this year probably felt more, I don't want to say fun because I don't know how they can quantify this fun, but it probably felt like it's more deserving. They have to put more effort and it's probably more rewarding as well when you know you're not the most dominant, but you're actually
Yeah.
genuinely having to fight and beat other drivers that are also in good cars, they're also performing well.
Well, if you think about it, like he's a sportsman, he's going to want competition. That's what all sports people live for: the competition, the fight, the challenge.
Yeah.
So him being able to just waltz in and like after like doing an iRacing endurance race all night the night before and just waltz in and win the race and go home and do another endurance race without any care in the world. It's it's not exactly too exciting or very extensive or anything. So I just think that I think it's more a case of he is really getting to enjoy his sportsman side and enjoy the competitive side of Formula One.
Exactly. I think you nailed it with that one. Because he is, like you said, a sportsman and a competitor, and he wants that competition, even if you sometimes want it. I think Russell was saying after his win in his interview that he was just waiting for something bad to happen because every time he's on pole, every time he's doing well, something bad
Yeah,
happens inevitably. So
yeah,
maybe in a situation like that, he would prefer to just be dominant, have a gap of 20 seconds, and not have a worry in the world. Because I think
yeah,
there was also a fact that they mentioned on the stream that both of his race wins had come in with a gap of less than 1.5. Was it? I think it was 1.5 seconds. Any
yeah,
case, small margins.
yeah.
So maybe in a situation like that, you would want to have a bit of breathing room, which we had today. Technically, he did
He
have a
just
5 second gap.
Yeah, he did. And he did in the end. And it was a case of that, like, he was kind of saving his tires towards the end, and just Hamilton's ones hit the cliff, and there wasn't much he could do after that. He'd gotten the full amount out of those tires, and Russell just had to kind of safely guide it home.
Which he did well. So fair play to them. Surprising weekend for Mercedes, but I won't be too upset about it. They deserve it. They had a good car this weekend. They were
Yeah,
dominant the whole
they,
time.
they got a very good weekend. Like from what could have been a very poor weekend, like even last week coming from a very disappointing result to this weekend getting 43 points. It's a good weekend for Mercedes.
Yeah, it's a complete turnaround from last weekend to this weekend. And on top of
Hmm.
that, like we said, dominant FP1, FP2, FP3, every qualifying session except, unfortunately, that one for Hamilton. So if he would have just managed it, it's strange to say like if he would have qualified top five because they still would have gotten a 1-2 problem. That's the best you can do. But
Yeah,
it probably would have been reversed or it would have been closer to a reversal than what we had now.
I have a feeling because of how far back Hamilton was and how much he got held up by both Ferraris and behind Piastri at the start of the race,
Yeah.
that if he had qualified, let's say P5, just as an example, he would have won that race. Based on the race pace that he had today, he would have won that race.
You think? Oh, let me just tweet this out.
I I think so. Like he he was coming like because of being held up by the Ferraris and Piastri, he had to overcome what was like a third. Well, it ended up being like 13, 14 second gap
Mm-hmm.
when Russell had done his second pit stop. If he was fifth, it wouldn't have been that high, and he probably would have had the quicker. He had the quicker pace today
Yeah, he was
overall.
dialed in. He was dialed in. All right, I
I
just
think
tweeted out,
I think the shelf life comment got to him.
which is unfortunate because this probably was his last chance to get a race victory with Mercedes. I would
Mm.
think. I mean, obviously we don't know
Uh,
what's going to happen, but I do think this was their last chance given the environment, the circumstances, the temperature.
do you know? Do you know what I say? Take a hit next weekend, and go full fresh engine for Abu Dhabi. Go out and high. They have nothing to lose.
You
Like
know, they might just do it. I Do they have any chance at climbing up in the constructors? I didn't check that.
nope,
What are they?
they've
No, no
they're
chance. I
over they're over 160 points behind, and they're over what?
Yeah, right now they're 100 and I think it's what 30 points behind Red Bull. Uh, Tough. I don't
It's
think it's
about
possible. I don't know if
yeah
mathematically it's possible, but I don't. It'd have to be like a
yeah
perfect 1-2 fastest lap every race, sprint race included. And Paris would have to continue just being out of the points completely, and Max would have to
yeah.
kind of
No,
not do anything
it's
either.
well like if you think about first, if they get first and second with fastest lap for the next what two races there and the sprint race, you've got 103 points overall. They're not getting catching Red Bull. Aston Martin aren't catching them. They have absolutely nothing to lose for the rest of the season.
Would there
So
be any
might as well.
financial implications if they take on a new engine? Could they just be wanting to save that budget and use it towards something else maybe? If they don't really see a reason to, if they have nothing to fight for.
Mm, maybe, but they might also want to have a send off for Hamilton, which would be like it would be a good look for potential new sponsors, considering how many sponsors are leaving with Hamilton.
Yeah.
That it would be a good idea for them in a PR stance to give Hamilton a proper send off and give him that chance at a last win.
What do you think the vibe within that team is right now? I'd love to be a fly on the wall. Like, do you think there's true tension between
Did you,
Hamilton and the team
did you watch the car on the way to
on
the
the way
podium?
in?
No,
Yeah, yeah, I
like when
saw.
they were
Yeah, the three of them, and that. Yeah, that was.
yeah. Did you see the tension between Hamilton and Russell?
And even when Bono came on the radio after the race, it just felt so like you could compare Russell's post race
Yeah,
radio and Hamilton's post race radio. It was night and day almost.
they're like I think that there's serious tension going on there. Like especially with Hamilton saying that he wanted to leave after Brazil.
Yeah.
Like there must be something serious going on there if that is the case.
I hope he decides to write his book sooner rather than later, because I would love to know exactly what happened throughout this year behind closed
All
doors.
I'm saying is, if he writes the book, I want to try my hand to get in the film rights.
Deal. I'll sign the petition for you to have
Yeah,
the rights to
that
that
sounds
film.
like a good. That sounds like a good plan to me.
Because I think he said at some point, that or was it not him who said he'll write a memoir after? I think most drivers should write a memoir, especially if they're like at the top.
I definitely think
He seems like
just
the
to
type.
show what. Yeah, he will be the type. I think just to give us an idea of what happened while they were racing, that kind of way.
Yeah.
But I, where did I see it? I saw something about I can't remember where it's gone now, but where like so I someone pointed I missed what they were saying, but George goes to Carlos. You were quick, and Uh, then Carlos points to Lewis and goes, "This guy," and George just goes, "Yeah." So there's and Lewis refused to look at George while they were sitting there. He was like looking out the window the whole
Yeah, I
time.
was playing with the
There's some
window. I don't know, man. I would love
there's
to know
some
what's going on
serious
there.
tension going on there.
And I don't know if, I mean, I assume it's just kind of like normal for team principal if he wants to get on the radio with the winning driver. But I don't know if Toto ended up
Yeah,
getting on with Lewis as well, because he did congratulate George for the victory. And I think he messed up.
yeah.
He said they were in Los Angeles, or like, he mentioned Los
No, I
Angeles a
think I
couple
think
times.
what he meant is that they'd be flying back from Los Angeles or something.
I don't know. But it was like, what the hell is he talking about? Because they were
Yeah,
supposed to fly out later today. That's what I was.
yeah.
I'm just
That's
scrolling
what
through
I'm
Twitter now.
understanding.
Were you impressed by anybody else? What about going three wide or Magnussen and Lawson fighting for a
I
little
was
bit?
I was really impressed by that to see how Lawson didn't actually clip either one of them. That like he was basically sandwiched in there, and he had no way of kind of avoiding either of them if they did decide to close in on him. So it was just really good racecraft from all three. And in fairness to Checo, that was a really good move.
Yeah, it's a rarity, but I've gotten accustomed to not seeing much from Checo, but he did quite okay today from a move standpoint. What about Colapinto? I always like to see what he's doing, but where did he finish? 14th. Hmm. He
Yeah,
started
he had a
pit
good race today, which was good.
Albon with the DNF. Unfortunate for Pierre Gasly, as you said at the beginning, that was quite. I don't know where he was in the standings or where he was in the grid order after, at that point when he did have to retire the car. Was he still in the points? I think he was still running in the points at that point.
Who was this?
Gasly,
Um, oh, Gasly. He was fifth or fourth, or fifth or sixth, I think. Or no,
fifth or sixth.
was he gone down a bit more?
I don't know if he had already
He might have
pit
been. He might
maybe.
have been down to maybe. He was still in the points anyway when he had to retire. Basically, the engine blew and he just kind of started dying away.
Man.
It was kind of sad to see.
And I know at one point there was some
I was
push
really.
for what's it called, for Joe Guan Yu to, he was in the points for a bit.
I've just realized because of that engine blowout, it counts as damage.
As damage.
That means that his record of he the record of having zero damage, like zero cost in damage from the year is gone.
Oh man, what was he on that record? I
He
didn't
was
remember.
on for that record to be. Yeah, he was on for that record to be the first driver in F1 history not to like cost the team a single cent in damages.
And that's ruined because of an engine
Oh,
failure. Oh man, come on, that shouldn't
yeah,
count. There should be a technicality somewhere that says that's not how it
there
works.
has to be a technicality on that because there's nothing he can do about that. That's not due to his driving standards at all.
Yeah. No. Surprising. I
I,
can't
I hope,
believe
I
that.
hope. Yeah, there was lots of people talking about it during the week, so maybe that was the jinx.
Especially after he just managed to get it up into P3 to start the race.
Yeah,
Just
he had a
scrolling
good
through.
weekend. So here's hoping for Qatar as well.
I'm just scrolling through, seeing what we can find here. What do you think of the racing between Carlos and Charles? Did you? It was fair racing for the most part, I thought.
It was very. I think it was very fair racing.
It's rare to see that. I mean, they're always pretty good with each other. I don't think they've had. Have they had an incident where they've actually made contact? They do get on the
This
radio and
year,
always say the other has more pace, whatever. But I don't know if they've actually gotten into it with each other.
I don't think they've. I don't think they've made contact this year. But I'm pretty sure they might have made contact another year. I'm not sure.
Oh, look, there was a radio
But
message from Charles where I don't think he was too happy
No,
about all the switching of the positions.
I can imagine.
And how did Carlos even end up finishing ahead of Charles, given the fact that he lost all that time with that stupid pit stop strategy?
Um, I think it was when there was the battle with Max. I think, and Max kind of basically shoved Charles wide, and Carlos went up the inside.
Okay, yeah,
But,
could be.
but have you seen the Charles team radio after the race?
I didn't listen to it. I saw somebody post it here on X, but I don't know if it's just like a fan page. I assume it's the real radio. She's like, yeah, I did my
I'm
job.
assuming it is as well because
Did you read it?
yeah, I'm just reading it now. Do you want me to read it out?
If you want, yeah, sure, go for it. I did my job.
So Charles says, "Yeah, I did my job, but being nice fucks me over all the fucking time. All the fucking time. It's not even being nice, it's just being respectful. I know I need to shut up, but at one point it's always the same, so." And then Fred goes on the radio and goes, "Charles, Charles." So
the
man's gonna
clowns,
get
the
a
clowns were back in action today over at Ferrari.
yeah, he's gonna get what, like a 30 grand fine or something
Oh, true,
for
because they
saying
can't swear. I completely forgot that. Oh
yeah.
my god.
It's an absolute joke.
I wonder if the team fronts the payment in this case. Would they be like, this one's on us here. Take the 30K.
Yeah, this is our fault for him like cursing.
Poor guy. Next year is gonna
Well,
be wild. Oh my god.
what did you think of Yuki hitting the speed limiter?
Bro, what was that about? At first I
I
thought I
don't
think there
know.
was another. I thought there was another car with him. I might have been one of the Alpines. I
Yeah,
might be
it
wrong.
was Ocon, I think.
But then, like from the
I think.
other angle, he was nowhere near him, so he just kind of ran into it on his own.
Yeah,
How do you even do that?
I don't know. I think it was a case that he was let out into Ocon's path and couldn't cut across Ocon.
Was he that close that he couldn't
So
cut across? Because from the one angle it looked like it, but then from the other camera angle it looked like he was all
yeah,
alone on his right side as well.
it was it was a bit tight. Like there was about a foot gap between the front of Ocon's wing um, and the back of Yuki's car, and I think that really kind of it was a bit close, so he wasn't gonna try to squeeze in.
Hold on, I'm gonna put a quick poll here. Did you enjoy the Las Vegas? Oops. Yes? No. Let's see. Let's see if people enjoyed the
Yeah,
race this
I'm gonna say yes.
I also did enjoy it as well. I did too enjoy it. I thought it was a good race. I do think the time doesn't work for me. I don't know. I feel like everybody it's so hard, like even for them the time doesn't work because it's so early. I think
Yeah,
Lewis was saying he goes to bed at 5 6 a.m., which completely throws everything off. For us
yeah,
we have to wake up early. I know for you it's did you end up staying up all night?
yeah. I kind of fell asleep about 3 o'clock,
Mm-hmm.
and my friend luckily had set an alarm for 5:40, and that was kind of going off, and I kind of woke up right towards when it finished, like when the alarm finished.
Yeah.
So thankfully for that, otherwise we would probably miss the start of the race. But yeah, no, it was interesting.
Yeah,
It was it's a tough one, knowing now that I have to go into work after this, and I'll be doing stuff up until 8 o'clock tonight.
yeah,
But
I also have to start
it's one of
start
those
studying
things.
after this one. Got an exam tomorrow, so I have to lock in as well.
Oh, you gotta dial in on that one.
Yeah, well, King Julian was saying yesterday that we do have to start with that a bit as well. But it's all good. We'll focus on that when the time comes. For now,
Hmm.
two races left plus a sprint race. Do you see anything major? Is there anything still to fight for, or it's just more or less
I
finish out the
think that the
season?
constructors is. the constructors is still up for grabs,
Yeah,
but I do obviously the drivers is out of contention. So I think that it'll just end up being a free for all. Nobody kind of really caring too much about the like positioning of their drivers and stuff like that. They'll just go hell for leather, clean, be fair racing, and just see where you finish. That kind of way. I'm looking forward to it.
and what did you think of McLaren today? I mean, Lando didn't do anything. I know they didn't have the pace, didn't have the tires, whatever, but I don't know.
Their car just was not there today. They are we've seen a few times this year that they've been poor in kind of cooler conditions. So that's probably what ended up impacting them mostly. But I think that it really came down to the temperatures today that messed them over. But yeah, I think because Qatar is so hot, I'm not sure how hot it'll be this year because I think it's later. It's later in the year this year, isn't it,
They, they are
compared to
doing a
last
night
year?
race, yeah.
Yeah, like it's not like later in the day. It's later in the year, that kind of way. I think it was earlier. It was like October last year, I think, if
Yeah, that
I'm
was wild
not
last year.
wrong.
When everybody was getting out of the car
So
and they
and
were
they
getting ready to
vomiting and
stand, yeah.
heat stroke and everything.
Let me just
No,
check here.
I think this year won't be as bad,
The race
but
is
I
at
do
6 o'clock
think
for me, so that means it's at 4 o'clock for you.
yeah.
Yeah, it's. I don't know what time that is there, I'll be honest. I don't know if it's a couple hours ahead. I would assume. Maybe
Uh,
one or two. If. Check. Time.
let's have a look. Four
Qatar.
o'clock my time,
Yeah, they're 1 hour
and
ahead
it's
of
like
me. So
yeah,
they're
it's
three
two
hours
hours
ahead.
ahead of me, so it'd be like 8 o'clock.
I think it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So it's 3 hours ahead of you, 1 hour ahead of me.
Yeah,
Yeah. So I guess it's
yeah,
it's
it's
not
like
bad.
7.
It's definitely not bad.
Yeah,
So ask anybody
yeah.
else
It's
that's
I
watching if you can vote for our poll or let us know what you thought of the race. If you have any thoughts you
yeah.
want to share with us in the
Give
chat.
us your thoughts.
Uh,
It'd be interesting to hear what other people are thinking about what happened.
like I said, overall, I'm quite happy because my predictions did end up. I mean, I can't even call them predictions, just that the strategy I had for Foxbox was pretty solid because, again, I just kind of went for all of the top seven drivers, which
Yeah,
might not be
that
fair,
was
but
the smart
that's,
move.
yeah, I like to think so as well. I mean, I have to defend
But
the title next week, so I'll have to see
I'm
who.
coming for that title, man. I'm coming for the title. I'm
Yeah,
gonna beat you.
man. Hey, if you can do it, then go for it. Maybe there'll be
Give
some
me a
huge
week.
whale.
I'll get it done.
Yeah, maybe there'll be some huge whale that comes and just like goes all in on Perez, and then he wins, and nobody can catch them.
I might as well try.
There's a chance. There's
Worth it.
always a chance. Always a chance. And now I guess they're flying out when? Probably tomorrow. Most of them are going to stay in Vegas today to just
Yeah.
party for a little bit.
Oh yeah. Well, it's Vegas. You kind of have to party with.
Especially if you're George Russell. I wonder if Lewis is going out with the team today. Oof.
No,
You think no?
I don't think so.
Hmm.
I don't. Mm, I don't. I don't think Lewis is the one. Now he doesn't seem to be like the one to be going out celebrating that way.
Yeah, especially if
He
it's
feels yeah, especially with how tensions are at Mercedes right now. But he feels in recent years that he's very much a kind of go out for a meal, like toast at the meal, that sort of thing.
yeah.
Go home, go to bed.
Yeah.
But we'll see. We'll see. We'll have a look for the pictures tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll see what it is. Speaking of which, did you see the new Lego set? The Ferrari, the big Ferrari,
I've I've
for
seen
like
it.
a
It
day
looks
ago or whenever
amazing.
it was. Oh man, March 1st. I know where I'll be.
Oh, I'll be waiting for the toy store to open.
I just have to figure out where I'm gonna put it because like a massive car, it's 1 to 8 scale, right? So I don't really know where it's gonna go. I'd like to get in the shot somewhere, so
Yeah.
maybe I'll find a place
Well,
to like above me.
I don't know. I don't know if it's visible, but I've got a big like shelf back there,
Hmm.
and I have to like build it up. But there's like a bit right at the top, and it's like a solid size, and it fits the Lego McLaren. So I think it might fit the Ferrari as well. But I'm thinking of getting the Mercedes as well because it's on
Yeah.
discount right now.
Oh, is it? How much is it right now? Some discount.
Well, it's only in the toy store in Ireland, but it's like I'm not sure if it's still on discount. I'll have a quick look, but it was like €55 off or something.
Wow, that's a
So it
pretty
was
big
a
discount.
really good discount.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's still 55. Like it's gone from €220 to 165.
Damn, nice.
So it's very tempting.
I'll bet. I do like
It's
the little touch of the spades and like the diamond and hearts and clovers on the curbs in Vegas. That looks really cool.
Yeah, it's a nice touch. I like the kind of adding in the bit of Vegas culture to the
Yeah.
track. It's it's a good addition, in my opinion.
Next week we don't only have the race weekend, we also have I think is Santa not coming out next week? Like the
Yes, coming out next Friday. I'm
29.
really looking forward to the series.
I'm hoping it's gonna be amazing. I know you're hoping
I
even more that it'll be.
I'm looking at it, and from seeing kind of the trailers and the like behind the scenes of them making the cars and stuff, it looks so good. I've got really high hopes for this, and there's also a lot of it in, is it Spanish or Portuguese? Don't crucify me,
I would
whoever
assume it's
people from Brazil.
Portuguese. Yeah, Portuguese is Brazil.
Portuguese, yeah. So they be speak they actually have like Portuguese dialogue in it, which makes it even better that it's actually
You,
being on.
as obviously much more in the field of filmmaking and all this, do you watch them in their original language or do you also dub them?
I why it really depends on what I'm watching, because if I'm watching something that is like what like Senna, that will be a joint like Portuguese and English. I'll watch the English in English and the Portuguese in Portuguese, but with subtitles.
Hmm.
But then sometimes if it's like a full like like if the thing is fully, let's say, in French now or something, I might get the dubbing to English, because it's a bit tough to keep up with everything while
Right,
also watching what's happening.
right. So this one you're thinking you're gonna go with the original language, Portuguese, English, because I'm
Yeah,
sure when they'll do like the
yeah,
international races, they'll be speaking to other drivers in English most likely because the other drivers don't know
yeah,
Portuguese.
yeah.
I'm
Well,
excited too. How many episodes are there? Do you know or
there's
do we know?
6 there was a joke going around that there'd be 15 episodes, but there's only 6 episodes, I'm pretty sure, and it basically follows him from when he was. Uh, I'm not sure what point it starts at, but it leads all the way up to his death.
Okay.
So that will be interesting to see that how they kind of. I'm looking forward to seeing how they deal with that situation that day in 1994.
Yeah, it'll be. I don't know. I'm very excited for it too. So that's next Friday. I'll have to probably binge. Is it probably 1 hour episodes, like at least 45-minute episodes on Netflix?
Yeah, definitely. I'd say I'm not looking forward to it because uh, I've got two big assignments due next Friday, which I will be working on until late that evening probably.
Hmm.
And it's also voting day here, so I'll probably have to. Well, hopefully, if my vote arrives, I'll be going voting that day as
Yeah.
well. So to find the time to watch it, it'll be tough.
Well, that means you'll be free on the weekend, which means we'll have another opportunity to do these lives. It'll be a bit later in the
Ah,
day for sure because again the race is a bit later.
yeah. Well, unluckily for me, work at the weekend will impact my freeness. But hopefully, I'll get to see some of it before the next live.
Yeah, we'll definitely do that afterwards. And then throughout the weekend, you have to make those predictions. And I'm telling you, there's a lot of
I
opportunity right now. We have,
I might just go on and back someone now and just decide. Yeah,
that would be a
that's
very
that.
strong strategy, to be honest, because like at the beginning of the week before we see any action, all of the RPTs
Mhm.
on the drivers are much higher. And that's why I got
Mm.
such a good return on Russell because I placed a prediction from him for him I think last Monday when he was still like at a 15 RPT. And after we saw the
Oh well.
practice sessions, I think it dropped down to like 3 or 2. So I basically got what was it, 7 times the value just because I
Wow.
managed to place that prediction earlier.
That is
So it's part of the
that,
strategy. That's why
that
either
might be what I have to do.
yeah, I think either today or tomorrow I'm gonna head over to boxbox and just do it for the next race.
All on
So
Hamilton. All on Hamilton.
I had 100 tickets on Hamilton as well, and he actually had the exact same RPT as Russell. So the Mercedes cars weren't looking as favorites, but sometimes it happens.
Yep. No, I'd say they'll struggle in Qatar, but you'll get good results from
I'd say McLaren. I think McLaren's gonna be strong next weekend.
um, yeah, McLaren and Ferrari will be strong.
Yeah, I mean, of course,
So
I'll back the majority on Ferrari, but I do have to make sure McLaren cover all my bases because
you have to defend that first
I
place.
I, I have to. Yeah, I have to. I have to make sure that we secure it. And next year, once those
Yeah,
groups start, I think there'll also be. I'm not sure what the prize will be, but I can only assume it'll still be some sort of Grand Prix idea. So if we get a group that can all be obviously on top of it, then we'll take the group out to a Grand Prix. So we have to be locked in on these predictions,
yep.
but we'll get there. All right, so I think that
We'll get
basically
there.
covers it for Las Vegas. I mean, it was a good race. The show was always relatively fun. I don't, you probably too, we don't get into it as much just because it's on such a completely different time zone. But it's probably cool for the people that are there, that are watching it live, that are in Las Vegas to feel
Yeah.
the atmosphere if you're
Oh,
going
definitely.
for the race. Because I think if you're just going for a weekend in Vegas and it happens to coincide with the race, I'd be so pissed off. Like, it's all about the race. Everything's blocked off. Traffic's a nightmare for sure.
It sounds like an absolute nightmare to get around while the Grand Prix is
Yeah.
on. So
And for people living there or working there as well, like, you're not
yeah,
into the race. You can't even watch it for free. And it just completely messes up your daily
yeah,
routine.
yeah.
But it is what it is. Money
It's
talks, right? So,
cash grab,
huge one.
big crash grab. Yeah. So yeah, sum up the race in one word.
One word.
Mm.
Cold. I don't know. It was. It's hard in
Yeah,
one word because like it was entertaining, but not. It wasn't the same entertainment value as last year for me. Last year, like if I can think of one word, I think of dive bomb because I think of the clerk dive bomb in Paris at the end when it actually kind of mattered.
yeah.
Here,
I I think for myself that cold is a good word for it as well because like you've got like the cold as in temperature wise, but you also have like it was cold as in it was cool. It was like that kind of
it was
cold.
cool, and it was like cold as in Hamilton's cold towards the team afterwards. Everybody, there's tensions.
Yes,
Ferrari tension at Ferrari.
exactly.
So it's a
Like
deeper
Charles
meaning,
being cold on the radio.
deeper meaning towards that
Just
cold. Yeah,
everything's cold in this race.
yeah. But we'll be back next weekend after the qualifying
Yep.
session on Saturday and then again after the race. So everybody that's watching, if you haven't subscribed, make sure to subscribe. We'll definitely drop the link on Twitter again. I call it Twitter. I don't know. I know it's X, but it X
It's
Twitter.
still I
Elon,
still
don't
call
get
it
mad
Twitter.
at me if you're watching for whatever reason. We'll call it
Yeah.
whatever you want. If Elon Musk comes in the chat and tells me to call it X, then I'll never call it Twitter again. I promise.
Yeah. If Elon ends up in here, we'll be like, okay, okay.
And it's time to officially
And
call it
I
X.
might, I might ask him for a few bob just to keep me going, but that's another
We'll show
story.
him what Lego we want to get and see if he can help out.
Yeah,
Mm, awesome. Well
sounds
then,
good.
enjoy your day. Hopefully, you don't have too hard of a time at work. and I'll catch you next week.
Have fun studying.
Thank you.
See
Thank you.
everyone
See you.
next week.
Bye, everyone.